Hey, all this and all this. I think this is part 4 now, the Brotato thing. This is tier 3 or whatever, which is combat, and tier 2 not meant to be skinned, whatever I call it from. But maybe we're on a higher tier than that. Yeah, I might have to go and check in on the YouTube channel and actually check my clips out. Hopefully I can go back far enough to check what tier it is I'm supposed to be on, right? Because, it would be bad if I would call it the same tier as I already called something. Maybe calling it a tier like that was just a bad idea to do. But yeah, but I saw there how much range damage is doing for weapons. I hope that I can keep in mind of where I am there location-wise. Yeah, I can see my purple weapon. Yeah, I need to do some water though. Right. Okay, one thing that is bad, of course, is that our health is still only 23. Like, we have very, very low max health. Like, we need to start doing something, quote-unquote, about that. Of course, I'm not trying to go way, way too hard here with going for one of those material things. So I can get the chest, or at least. Here we go. Recycle. Crit chance, though. That is most important. That is second. Okay, most important. Good. Yeah, there's a snowball, is what it's called. 1 elemental damage every time that increases elemental damage. Lock that, get landmines. There's more luck. That's more back, okay. So again, as I said, range damage is very important here. That we get a lot of. Because that will use that a lot of damage. Big weapon, what this time? Okay, good. Yeah, because we started here, it's not that really cool, but yeah. And maybe now we won't go into endless and stuff that, so we can do maybe another run, Because yeah, again, the minigun just it doesn't look good at first, but you need some range damage, and then like it gets good. I forgot what the range on it is. Okay, for 30, it starts with 400 or when it's purple. Oh no, pick up range is bad. Because imagine if we had a thing that just immediately picked up everything, then we would actually be gaining quite a lot of luck, quite a lot of resources, I feel like, Sadly, we're not close to killing bosses, though, which is a bit of an issue actually because of our low health. That is melee damage and speed though. More damage percent. Yeah, that actually makes a whole lot safer there. Actually, it's pretty funny. The knockback is actually very, very good. Down this. Yeah, the mines, we have two of the mines, right? We have two of the land mines, I think. Yeah, two of the land mines. Of course, if we would get a bunch of luck, that would also be very, very useful as well. And yeah, the knockback can be really good because the knockback item isn't that unique. You can get 3 of them actually and stuff like that, you know. Did we get the thing? Yeah, it's like touch can crit. Yeah, so Lighthouse will be really good if we could get one. Yeah, max SP, 10% more damage, 10% speed. Get that, and get the. That increases enemy damage. Oh, there's the toolbox. Yes. Lock that as well. Piercing damage, so. That increases. So what we gain one piercing. We have one piercing by default from this. Because it's used so that the piercing doesn't go above a certain amount of damage. It goes up like to your default damage or whatever. Right? Piercing damage always need to be dealing less damage than your normal damage. Yeah, 10 damage now on the minigun. You can imagine this also if you have high enough HP, right? And you have enough lifesteal, how crazy this would be with its lifesteal that it would give you. But also how crazy it will be immediately once we get, for example, once we get a spike or whatever, right? Or nail or whatever it is, right? We get that, and then we get, for example, the one with elemental damage and stuff that, you know, so we could, you know, stop scaling via multiple sources. That would be more attack speed though. Lifesteal though. Luck though. Luck. Yes, yes, yes. That's absolutely crazy. Roll a few times. Yes. So yeah, 2% in killing a 3 spawns a turret. And then we have the thing, so we spawn more 3s. Stuff that, you know, we have 2 times. So we're getting 2 3s. Stuff that, yeah. Lots of great chances, I think. So that means, for example, the fact that, if you then spawn a lot of 3s, for example, that just means way more turrets. No, the turrets aren't something you should be super reliant on, because the turrets can mess up enemy spawn. You can make it so that enemy spawns in like really bad locations if you have too many turrets. Our damage is not super high yet, but keep in mind, yes, we only have 1 weapon and stuff that, you know. I know what things are going to be good if we can, you know, take. Do we have any red items yet, or do we have any tier 4s? We don't have any tier 4 items. It's technically would mean that a ferry would be pretty insane if we could get there, but we also need to start increasing max health eventually. There's more engineering. There's a lot of harvesting though. Man, that is minus engineering though. There's the pearl. There's the engineering for permanent elemental damage. whatever, which is another type of scaling. Strange book, yeah. But then if we have one permanent elemental damage up, and that also keeps scaling, by the way, that it gives you some more elemental damage equals more engineering for us. Stuff that, and then for example, if you have the thing that gives you elemental damage scaling, then also you get the thing that gives you a piece of shit. Don't get close enough to that. Die. Why do you fucking have to spawn those fucking enemies right now? Please. Okay, now you're stationary. Just keep it cool, just wait a little bit. Go, 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 go. Storm the front. Storm the front. And I really want to get all of these materials though. Get close to you actually and maybe get some materials. Okay, recycle. 10% damage. Engineer scaling. Oh man. I know how fucking good the Captain Sword is. Because it gets a 15 plus for every free weapon slot you have. But you don't have any more weapon slots. So this would only be if you can have a lot of weapon slots, right? We have 0 free weapon slots. But you gain melee and gain curse. That. Medical turret, please. I would hate to get rid of this weapon and then all of a sudden basically just make it so that we cannot survive because we took a melee weapon instead. I feel like this is not gonna scale quick enough. Because we will need to take so much more range damage and stuff like that for it to work. So the thing is that if we had more free slots, for example, like I'm guessing that the Captain Sword would be crazy to have on someone that could have like a shit ton of that we just lost. Of course we did. Damn it. Oh, you lose when you have so little enemy damage and blah 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 blah. Now let's run with unarmed again. I wonder if that thing would have kept us alive though. Is the question. Maybe no. We're trying dumb stuff out, maybe. I mean, I know the main problem with this is generally that it doesn't attack super quick. Getting an response per 3 extras, and it is that gives we are least damage. Yeah. Maybe we should be Unga Bunga with the armor, maybe. So we get 5% damage. Yeah, you cannot say you cannot go with more than that. Get that. Even though that's a bit scary to do. Because we want to lock things that gives us damage. Because see, we need to play into its strength of the whole damage modification and stuff that, you know. Yeah, maybe the wrong thing was to go for the minigun and stuff that, so there's melee damage. That. Javelin is also very good, by the way, because the 5th projectile has 100% good chance. Because I know, right, that yeah, it spawns more projectiles, stuff that. So that means that if we get a lot of range damage, then we can start to deal quite a bit with projectile. Which also means, for example, that having things that gives us additional projectiles, or like having things like, you know, baby elephant, having things like the scat offsets, even though the scat offset doesn't do the same thing, but we can have like a ball as well that, you know, has a thing. Speaking of which, HP. Damage percent is the really important thing though. Let's get that because we don't have any crit. Here's another club though, but yeah, we cannot gain more of it. That's the main problem, is that you cannot even have, because let's say that you had like 2 weapon slots even, stuff that, you know. This will be actually be pretty funny because, you know, the thing is just that you have a lot of weapon slots in this, of course. That's just Vampire Survivors, right? But yeah, you know. Yeah, but that means, for example, that I feel like luck is like very, very important on this character as well, you know, and stuff like that, just because you need to, instead of finding blue clubs, you need to find like a purple one and stuff like that. Let's do plus melee damage though. Melee damage? Yes. There's a baby gecko. Owning them spells now. That's very nice though. Better than the range damage increase, not good yet. Again, I know how good melee weapons can be because this has a very, very decent amount of knockback. Makes it very good as well. Okay, that's 84.7 items. And I know that the one-armed guy is not supposed to be like that hard or anything, right? Because yes, you gain a lot of damage multipliers, but then of course you need to take the damage multipliers. Don't take that. Range damage that will strengthen the projectiles. Any damage, nice. Look, both of those. Luck. So now we pop it on, that will deal 3 damage. Scaling 70% now with that, and we scale 90% with the thing. Yeah. Yes, and of course we cannot have several primitive here. If you could have the several primitive, then that would be good, because then you could have at least started scaling more with health. Yeah, so maybe we should just, you know, just around the club. Then the main problem would be, of course, if we quote-unquote curse our club, for example, then that would be, you know, something. Of course, if we happen to find an anvil early on, or if we could even find, like, say, a cursed anvil, that would be good, because then we could, for example, make sure that we gain that if it doesn't upgrade our weapon right, then it has a high chance to give you one. max HP. Luck damage. Did we go with a snake yet? No. There's a heavy medieval mace though. With minus 6% attack speed, but that also, yeah, it scales minus negatively with attack speed. So damage is still pretty decent with 58% damage scaling there. Yeah, we need to make sure though that we don't skip out too much of the range damage because the projectile is still really pretty useful. Because right, if the projectile gets good enough, then that means that when we bash enemies that we have a high chance of also like dealing with at least, or at least inflicting some damage to the other enemies. So let's do level ups. Tilt. More melee damage. Oh man. That's a cursed weapon already though. I'm very close at wanting to take that though. It is just because I know how good a fireball can be, even though we don't have any elemental damage yet. Like, will it just kill us immediately if we pick that up right, and so that I'm gonna have to check what its damage was. Because we have 120 damage on this. Then it also has the whole burning effect, and it has also the whole that it explodes when it hits something. And that just happens all the time. It's not like a percentage chance. I need to make sure that I read the description properly before we take it though. Because losing all this knockback is going to be like really, really bad, because knockback you saves in certain situations, you know. It has 11 damage and 31% scaling we are at. It has decent knockback. It has 3 knockback. It is reducing enemy speed. It's a harpoon gun there. Som är ett handsvård. That skills via melee and skills via hitting enemy spawns to projectiles that heal. The sword is absolutely insane accessing at this point. Yeah, because that deals, but that doesn't scale via range, that only scales via elemental damage. So let's see, do we die now? Because the effect of it is up now. But you can see against like a group of enemies, like weak group of enemies, that it's like really good with fireball, especially if you have like very high attack speed. Because yeah, things just explode and then things burn. Scary thing with the fireballs, you can make them all real Yahoo, and stuff like that, Because that's the thing that's great about the fireball, use luck. It's the fact that the fireball explodes and then it causes burning, projectile explosion hit these 8 times 10 like burning damage, but then it also burns over time and stuff like that, you know. So imagine, for example, if you had a character and you could have like, and if you had a shit ton of weapons, right, and you had a shit ton of these fireballs. And it has a very, very small flash effect right now, but if you, for example, get a lot of radius, then it becomes really good. More respawn. 6 alien eyes. This gets again with that and elemental damage. That has the 8 knockback, same as the other thing, but yeah. So I feel like the Thunder Sword is going to be really good. Is it going to be able to carry us though? Yeah. Because the attack speed is still good enough. You see it just shoots. I think that also slows the enemies. And the fact that this also gains the burn effect as well. Then of course we have already 2. We don't have a single scat sausage yet. We have, for example, 2 of the baby elephant. But did we get the other one? Huh? Yeah, certain rounds can like keep going together and stuff like that, and you don't remember what you have, you know, and stuff like that, yeah. Because that is effect that would be a luck, as you can see. Yeah. And it only deals 2 damage, of course, 24%. So it's not a lot of damage, but it's like if you, for example, would have to happen to get a bunch of luck items later on, then like it gets really powerful. And if you combine that with the thing that can turn that stat into luck or whatever it was, you know, it becomes even more powerful. 857, okay. Don't go too bonkers here now. Yeah. And there's the insane scaling. It plus elemental damage 5% crit chance weapon scale additional with that. Even though it activates the burn slower. No. And we have the alien eyes. Yes. In that case we have max health as well. So well, we have -2 armor, that's actually pretty bad. Because how much we have 0 HP regen and 0 lifesteal. We do have quite a lot of consumable healing though. But having to rely on picking up stuff to heal is not particularly good. That's super great. We are dealing quite a lot of damage though. Nah. Yeah, more health. With that, do we have the thing yet to scale with any, you know? Free reroll in shop, get that. Oh man, that's negative. Maybe an action though. Kind of keeps us more safe. That's elemental enemy. Oh. Yeah, if we get that Thunder Sword, then we can like we have a tier 4 Thunder Sword. Yeah, that's how quick you're meant to kill bosses. Yeah, you just get lucky, you just get the fucking Thunder Sword, man. Yeah, it also helps with the whole melee dance that we've been going for as well, you know. Most of that, so yeah, you know. Or I'm pretty certain we still could have done it with the fireball and stuff that, you know. Because we did pick up these frozen out. So you have 16 elemental damage, and you know, we're gaining like 130%, 135% scaling from the elemental damage. Yeah, then of course if we get the nail, we can get some engineering scaling as well. Even though we only have 2 engineering right now. But since the only structure we have, if the wandering bot counts as a structure, that would still mean that the lighthouse would be absolutely insane if we get that. Would be a huge damage boost if we can get the nail as well. Yes. Even though that's what I experienced those speed. Yes, you're key. Made damage. Another Thunder Sword. It's Ice Cube. Get that. I get that. Yes, touch map. Yeah, that's pretty insane. 621 damage, just like, you know. And how many, like, yeah, that's 4 breakdowns now, and they deal 39 damage, and then it slows enemies around, and it of course burns them, so, you know. Is the snail unique, by the way? Yes, it is unique. I wonder how much you can slow the enemy with if you curse the snail. Like can you make like enemies insanely slow with it? Because you see that how much slower they become and stuff that, you know. Because right, if you just make enemies slower, then for example, like, I don't know if there are other things that can make enemies slower. So I know like the flying robots of course can make the enemies slower, but yeah. Because see, here's the thing, but even if you would get to a very high wave and enemies just deal insane damage, if enemies would move slowly enough, then that also affects how slow like the breakdowns move, by the way. Yes. Full armor, yes. But that's explosion damage, so, but this is not explosion. Max HP for all the one we have, yes. 2 range damage, this is not range. This speed, this range, this speed and lifesteal, yes. Slice and dice. One of what the special thing is that these characters get and stuff that I forgot what the certain characters of course lets you unlock like items, stuff that, and but then there are also certain characters that go to unlock weapons and stuff that as well. So the damage is absolutely nothing wrong with it, yeah. Having more pickup radius would be good at this point, you know, I feel like. And more big arms, more cake. 10% damage. that. Get that. Oh. That's on there. Good. Maybe we will just stop once we reach wave 20 and stuff that, or once we finish the round or whatever, you know. Because I really wanted to capture, of course, if I would clear it with the one arm, I would definitely want to capture it and stuff like that, you know. Get more curse, och curses har blivit helt en del då. And the sword is just really good and stuff that because of the fact that the 8 shoots out a bunch of projectiles and then slowing me down and stuff that, and it's just... It's period, yeah, no lifesteal. Attack speed. There's the starfish. That is more knockback. There's snowball. There's spider. Every different weapon you have. And that's going to be +6 because we have one weapon that's different. Let's go to the damage it deals. Like, I think this could go really far, but the main problem would be that we would need to either get like an insane amount of regen, or we would need to get way more HP scaling and soon basically and stuff like that, because if we don't get the HP scaling, that's going to be the end, or we get just a bunch of like we reroll for armor every single time or whatever, right, or we get one of the barnacles to be cursed or whatever, right. Have it be like 60% like stat increase or whatever. But none of those are super good. We can get some elemental damage here. So take that. Take this. You know, the barricade might end up being good. We have 1 HP and ration and we have 5% lifesteal. Yeah. Not super good, but it's just, you know, that we're doing so much damage. Tier 3 doesn't mean that it's just tier 3 because this is still Daemia 5 and stuff like that, so... Right, and then treasure chest. Because treasure chests are just so important that you get a lot of, you know, stuff like that. Of course, there is the thing also that doubles, for example, a treasure chest, which is like a treasure map or whatever, right? It has a percentage to double the thing. Just the reclamation hoodie. It will be a lot of attack speed for every 1% dodge you have, but it reduces range by 80, so now. That might be scary to go with though. Look at that. Do 7% more damage. Keel. What's his armor now? We have 13 armor now. It's getting pretty decent. Character still. Imagine if they were a way bigger potato character though, that was actually like really big in terms of its size or whatever, you know. Of course would like have the negatives of course because you would much more easy get hit by things, you know. Well, level 23 also at wave 18 started up, yeah. Okay, only one, as you said so far, that round, that wave. No elemental damage. Yes. No need range damage, no. Oh, explosive turret though. That's also a cursed explosive turret actually. So that's the turret that they call red, like the tier 4 version of the Brentford spawn. Except often the things spawn the other ones I believe is weaker than the regular turrets. But I believe they still scale with things from the turret so that if you have like high engineering, you see scales of course. Have absolutely no chance. And it's not only that, like, yeah, you attack very quick with this because of attack speed that you get on the one-armed character. Yeah, such attack speed, that's actually. So max HP, 60% damage, there's the explosive turret, boom, or landmines, medical turret, so actually you can crit, hell yeah, this is another ton third. Now but let's go wave 20 then. We slice and we dice. And it's said, the wave's overused because the fact that you don't even get to play the full wave right. So you get focus from that. Gives you 30% damage and 3 minus attack speed for every different weapon you have. So if you only have one weapon you don't get any reduced attack speed. And focus is actually very good. Because focus is not unique either. So that was pretty decent. Yeah, so this means, of course, we have associates left, apprentice, yak, streamer, artificer, and hunter left to do ransom. And stuff that, and then we have all of the progress and stuff that, yeah. You know, you can see here, for example, like well-rounded unlocked potato, well unlocked power phrase, hunting trophy from Crazy, Night Congress from Ranger, Thunder Sword we had a mage, Chunky unlocked potato thrower, Old unlocked snail, Lucky unlocked lucky charm, Mutant unlocked octopus, Generalist unlocked the big arms, Loud unlocked repentive, the Dusk unlocked super, Walden unlocked hatchet, Pacifist unlocked panda, Gladiator unlocked spider, Saber unlocked padding, Stick unlocked wheatstone, Farm unlocked wheat, Ghost unlocked the ritual, Speed unlocked fin, the Bowler unlocked the bowler hat. We still haven't seen yet, but yeah. The bowler hat is of course absolutely crazy because it has both the whole luck and harvesting combination. Engineer unlocks the Robot arm, Explorer unlocks the compass, Rocket unlocks the medikit, which makes sense. Still is the amulet, of course. Yeah, a random weapon is upgraded when entering a shop. If you have no weapon to upgrade, you can 2+ armor instead. But I believe, right, that when it gets cursed, it gives you used armor from just picking it up. The only 6+ armor that it can get, for example, or 8+ armor, is not that it gives you that stat every single time it would, if it has no weapon to upgrade. But that means that the stuff in the shop needs to be locked for stuff to get upgraded. Or can it upgrade something in the shop that is not locked? Or if not one of your weapons can be upgraded, for example. Like could it, for example, make it so that when you reroll now this item could have a high chance of being upgraded or whatever. Yeah. So that is it. So yeah, so next time when we go around though, I do think we will probably go with Hunter Artificer. Hunter, I know there are also lots of things. Can you even start with that weapon though? Yes, you can start with it. Because this, of course, scales via range, by the way, the hiking pole. So it gets more damage the more range you get, because that is the range icon there. And it's only 10% scaling via the range, of course, but yeah. Because hiking pole's damage is not really that good. And because so 100+ range, 1% damage for every 10 range you have. Crit chance modifications are also increased. But you gain less max modifications, but it's only reduced by 33%. Which doesn't make it worthless, but yeah. And of course, Artificer is interesting. Right, so you can start with explosives on it. I mean, per class have a 50% chance to explode. But I believe right that, for example, if you get the runs up to the highest, if you get it up to the red range and it's on the explosive turrets, then I'm guessing that actually affects the explosive turret as well, probably. There's this thing. It gains materials per second, right? And then 25+ max per second was damage. You get 40% damage while moving, 40% attack speed while moving, 2+ armor for every one structure you have. Yeah, and then you gain 50% less materials. Minus 1% damage for every 50 materials you have. And 1% speed. So if you sit still a lot, you basically it's supposed to be that the materials are like donations that you receive, or super subs or whatever they call it, or different depending on if it's via YouTube or Twitch or whatever, So that that's supposed to be that. But oh shit, I have so many donations, and you're losing time, and you're losing speed. Yeah. Stream is actually quite interesting though as a character. And stuff like that, yeah. And there is a lot of interesting characters and stuff like that, but yeah. And we had Jack Apprentice is of course interesting. Because yeah, you just gain 3 melee and ranged and elemental and air engineering. Which means actually if you get multi-scaling things from the Apprentice, Apprentice have also a pretty decent amount of weapons there at the start that you can choose from actually. Yeah. I forgot what weapons can King have now when I've unlocked more weapons. I just want to check here. Is the King? The King is all over here. So 21% damage for every tier 4 weapon you have. 25% attack for every tier 4 weapon you have. 5%. And then you gain minus damage for every tier 1 weapon you have. Every tier 1 weapon you have. And minus 2 max HP for every different tier 1 item you have. So there are certain tier 1 items that you still want to have, of course, because they're really good. But you want to then make sure that it's a tier 1 item that you can stack up on. And stuff that, Yeah. And for example, tier 4 item, for example, gives you max HP as well. So, so you can counter that thing with things, but yeah. So you can start with, you actually gain access to rocket launcher. You get access to grenade launcher. Because I didn't have that when I first, had access to the King character. I didn't have access to the rocket launcher, or the fireball even for that matter. Because yeah, you can see that that's just its default state, the rocket launcher. And because it cannot be weaker than that, so yeah. So yeah, so for example, as you can saw, I have not seen it show up in a weaker state than that. There are certain things that can only be rare and above and stuff like that. Same thing I believe is true for Trident as well. But yeah. Yeah, Project does explore on it and the range is 500 on that. Of course, and it scales via range damage, but yeah, but the rocket launch is really good, of course, which would be perfect for a Nemesis style character. So that, but I hope you all have enjoyed this season of that, and hope we put more expansions for these. I don't know how. Supposedly Brotato, that's a piece of something that only take a long time between updates, right? But that, of course, it makes sense, right? But then, of course, like, okay, what do they have? Like, do they have free stuff, and stuff like that? Like, I'm guessing, right? Because it's actually true, because they did, before they did the first, right? The Abyssal carrots, right? They did that. I think it was part of a cop thing. I forgot what it was called, but it was because in one of the trophy packs, basically, there were 3 characters that you get trophies, and I feel like that update basically added those 3 characters and stuff that they weren't in the game before, right? So there are obviously characters that they add over time as well. That is not like part of an expansion, right? So yeah, I hope you all enjoy this, and I will get back to the fun facts this round and so that eventually, and so that because we just need to grab the RP and stuff that from the movers. So that I know that that's not going to be the most interesting thing in the world. There's usually so many parts that that's the thing, right? And I know that there might be people that want to really watch over the parts, and stuff that then you have a bunch of to watch. I need to also create a playlist for that as well. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy this. I'll see you all next time.